Welcome back to Onward Barns. Today, we thought we'd take a moment to take a step back to talk to those who have been thinking about camping and want to know really what goes on after the camping trip is over. Because, you know, we would love to think that when you get home from camping, well, you just park the bus or the RV, and then you get back in it to go again, and all you need is your clothes. Well, the truth is that there's a lot more to it than that. And I think that's where the passion for RVing comes in, is the fun and putting things back together, cleaning the bus, and everything that goes into it. And so today we were going to take a little bit more of a personal look inside that to kind of show those who have been thinking about it really what goes into that and what we do to prepare the bus for the next camping trip, because we have one coming up in about like 2 weeks, and we have a few things that we need to do to make sure that this bus is travel ready. And so that's what today's video is all about, so let's go. Alright, so one of the first things that we do is we come back here and you got to check your rear, because, you know, there's so many things that can go wrong when you mispack your bus, or things you can forget. Sometimes it's all about the little things. And so today we're going to kind of unhook a little bit of this, and we're going to see some of the things that we pack up for a camping trip. So as you can see here, we have our campfire grill that we like to hook onto the back. We got our pots and pans that are down in here. Some of them need to be cleaned. You know, even if you clean them at the campsite, it's still a good idea to come back and sanitize them in your dishwasher. You know, you got your battery you got to unhook. You know, there's all the little things that come with unpacking, and the rear is very important, because the last thing you want to do is get lazy because it's all already wrapped up, and then you leave for a camping trip and you realize, oh man, I should have really gone over a lot of that stuff.
Normally, we wouldn't show you our bus. He might. We wouldn't show you our bus in a chaotic state. But, you know, we want to live our truth, and we want to encourage people to go camping or glamping or whatever it is, and use whatever resource you have available. And if that's a beautiful Class A, then fabulous. If it's a B or a C, if it's a school bus or a van or a vanbulance, which they are super cool.
Yeah, they are.
You know, we want you to live, if it's a car. I mean, we've seen people camp beautifully in their cars. So we want you to live your authentic life. But in order for us to do that, if we're going to show you all the great fun things that we do, we also need to show you the work that goes into it, which includes getting home, unpacking, and cleaning. Okay, so as another disclaimer to why our bus is a little bit gonna look a little bit more chaotic, as you know, before we clean it. Two reasons. One, this is like we only have about 17 feet of actual usable space, and that's if you count the cab. If you don't count the cab, it's more like wanted to point out was during our stay here on the bus, I have the best mother-in-laws. I'm blessed to have 2 of them, and they would give me things like this, and for Jade and I, because we really didn't know how well this bus would hold heat, and so they would buy us things like these winter booties to wear on the bus, and they came in handy. They're beautiful, and we used them quite a bit actually. But we were so blessed to have watched enough YouTube videos to know how important heat actually is. And so we, with all the choices that you can make out there, we chose the diesel heater. So we purchased a Chinese diesel heater from Amazon for like under $200. We bought the 5. I think there's a 3, there's a 5, and I think there's one higher, but we bought the 5 because we didn't really, you know, when you don't know, you just get what you think you're going to need. And that 5 was plenty. It's like, and I don't know what the 5 stands for. I can't remember, guys, but the 5 was plenty of heat. Like the dial, we bought the simplest one with just the dial because we figured simple was better, you know, not a lot of parts to break. It does take somebody with a little bit of knowledge know how to put one in, and luckily, again, I married well because my father-in-law, he is a man of many talents, and he is like an electrician and a pseudo plumber and a pseudo this and a pseudo that, and he was able to put the diesel heater in for us with the help of my husband, and it was beautiful. So, and it's dry. And that was one of the things that the doctors were worried about, was propane can produce kind of a wet heat. And since she was going through bone marrow transplant, wet equals mold, and mold is bad. So we really had to make sure this bus was as mold proof as possible. So that's why we went with the diesel heater, because it was a dry heat. But oh, when I tell you, the most beautiful heat. Yeah. So if you can do diesel, I don't care if you have a gas bus or a gas vehicle, it is worth the diesel heat. And we just put the diesel in. You can't really see it over here, but you put the diesel in over here, and we use the receptacle that that came with it. But there are a lot of people that put the diesel heaters in and they hook it into their diesel tank. We didn't do that. We just used what the kit came with, and it's been beautiful. Not only did we use it in the dead of winter with a bone marrow patient, and it was terribly successful, but we also used it this last camping trip because it rained half the camping trip, and my daughter went swimming in a public wave pool for the first time in her entire life. 17 years she'd never stepped in a wave pool because it was always too cold for her. And this was the first time she was able to actually go swimming. I was sick. I was so sick as a dog. My allergies had kicked in, and so I was done. I couldn't go. But that's how huge this bone marrow has been for her, you know, being successful. Now my husband is outside. Well, he's taking in some things that we put in the kitchen area, and he's loaded the dishwasher with those while I continue to clean. So those things that you're kicking around right there, he just kicked all my stuff out of the way. Ah! Anyway, I'm never gonna get bored with this man, I'm gonna tell you right now. But that's one of those things that, you know, it's the small things. It's the small things that work out great. So I was telling them that and guys, what you see in the corner is the back of the mirror. So I don't want you to be like, what is that? We actually have the camera like just lodged on the backup camera, just so it stays while I'm cleaning. So, you know, sorry about the half a picture there, but get what you pay for, right? Anyway, so Josh just came out of the house for unloading the dishes and taking some things in for us. Now I'm going to ask you, Mr. Barnes, to go and get the bedding. Let me tell you where it is. The sheets and fitted sheets and clean sheets are in our room on my bookshelf that you built for me.
Okay.
Can you get those for me?
Yeah.
Thanks, babe. And I'm gonna keep cleaning. Oh, you want your... So what we like to do, and we'll probably do that today, is go out and get some boxes that can either fit on the hitch like you saw earlier, the hitch that you saw, or that'll fit right here during travel. So then when we're done, instead of having all these random things all over the place like you just saw, they're just in boxes, and we can just take the boxes off the bus, clean them off, put the boxes back on. That's our goal. That's our goal. We'll get there. And remember, we're still new to this whole camping thing. You know? So as we progress, we'll discover little camping hacks, and you'll be like, oh, why didn't we just do that? And yes, we have a lot of pillows on this bus. That is true. Can you see? It's getting brighter. So the idea was to use the hanging cubes back there instead of luggage, because the last time we tried using luggage just took up way too much space in the bus. So we used the hanging cubes, and they did okay. I think maybe if I get like more bags like this, but bigger, that'll fit in the hanging cubes, I think they'd work even better than just the raw clothes there, because then you could just grab a whole bag out. So I think that's what we're going to do, and probably even pack outfits in each one of these per day that we're camping. Then you can just grab the whole bag out, take your laundry bag, and then put your dirty clothes back in the bags that you used, and then all the dirty clothes can just be taken out like this instead of singly like this. And a lot of these clothes were clean, but since they've been on the bus for so long, I'm going to wash them anyway. And then we'll just bring them back to the bus. That's another thing that we're trying to develop, our clothes for the road, so that you feel good about camping in them. But if you want to go out to dinner, you can go out to dinner and you're going to look fine, right? So we're trying to kind of piece that together again. But as you've seen, my husband kind of likes to wear the same bear shirt. So I'm going to have to buy him some more bear shirts for him to wear. But at any rate, that's one of his favorite ones. I think it's just comfortably worn in. Now I'm going to re-sweep the floor.
One thing I do want to go by today. This is important.
Yeah.
101 for fridges. when we first started using this bus, we would put coffee grinds in the fridge between times we would take it out, and this fridge smelled like coffee when we open it up. But when you don't, it smells like mold and nastiness, even if there's nothing in it. So, a lesson here, when we brought the bus back in November, we didn't take the bus out for probably 5 months. And when I came in here, there was mold growing on the inside of the fridge. Even though there had been nothing in it, the moisture that builds up in a fridge that's not being used, if there's no coffee in there or something that can counteract.
If you can leave it open, that's good.
Yeah, or leave it open. But even then, sometimes it still kind of generates a little bit of a smell. You know, you need something in there that will counteract the bacteria that's trying to build up in there. And so the coffee was our best answer, and I think we're going to go back to it.
Yeah, it did make the whole bus smell good.
Dude, it did. And so, but we're going to be a little more creative with it this time and make sure we can put a lid on it when we're done.
Right.
And so, now comes the fun part, when you got to flex tape the roof to keep leaks out. We do this on average at least once a year. You always want to make sure that you're keeping that tape up to date. The last thing you want is to wake up in the middle of the night soaking wet. And so, my beautiful wife gets up there and strong arms it. And so this is important. You know, you always want to make sure, especially if you had a bus, more than likely you have an emergency hatch going out, and you have to decide, do you want to use that hatch, or are you going to leave it and hope that it will not leak?
Yeah.
These are important things that you're going to want to think about, especially if you plan on getting a bus. And so we use a waterproof flex tape along with a reflective foil that you can put over the top. It's like an insulation foil, and that's what keeps the water out. And so, yeah.
One day, we might remove the hitch completely and then put like a max air fan where it is right now.
All right, guys. Now that we've reorganized everything, I'd like to officially introduce you to our bus, Bob Ross. Let's take a look inside and on the outside to see some of the improvements that we've done to get ready for our next camping trip. All right. So before, you know, when you got to see the back, you just saw the one container, and we developed a new strategy on this bus, and we think it's going to work really well. The idea is that everything that needs to go in the house is going to go in this container up top here. So you're going to see here, it's got like cooking materials, our clothes are going to go in here, all the stuff that we need to take inside is going to go in this bin. The lower bin is going to be right here. This is the new bin. everything that stays out here between trips is going to go in here. Things that we don't have to take inside. So we're trying to be smarter about this, right? Like when you are packing for a camping trip, the idea is you want to make this as easy as possible. How can we make less trips, make it more convenient, right? Well, now everything goes in this container that goes in the house. We just haul it off, take that in, and that's all we got to take in outside of the sheets and the blankets that we want to make sure we get washed. So that does make things a lot easier to take back and forth. For a lot of years so far, we have battled with how much we're taking in and then the amount of time it takes for us to get set back up. So this summer, being that this is our first real summer on the road, we're really trying to perfect making this as efficient as possible. So that's why this is going to be a fun summer for us as you join us in what we can help show each other and show you how to make camping much more fun and much more efficient. And so, as you can also see here, we got our water container. We got our diesel fuel for our diesel heater because we got to keep that on us. Back here, I don't know if you can see that, but that's our big awning. You never know when you're going to need that. We almost took that off and then took it with us, and it rained last weekend, and suddenly we were really glad we had it. So if you have an awning or a tent, it would be convenient to have something in case it rains.
And that red thing in his hand, I just pulled that out of the storage, but that's actually a beach umbrella. You don't have to take it out, but it's huge. And you take the bottom where his hand is, you take the yeah, that's exactly how you use it, because you never know what beach monster you're going to run into. But actually my sister brought us that, and it is huge. So we use that when we go to the beach, and it actually basically becomes a huge beach tent. So we're going to store that on the bus as well, because we're going to be doing some beach camping coming up soon.
And some floating.
Yes.
Let me tell you a story real quick. We went floating a couple of years ago, and she brought this umbrella and covered herself with it. And I thought that that was so silly because we were on the river and it was scorching hot. And then it turned out that the joke was on me because the burns on my legs were so bad, I was diagnosed with sun poisoning.
Yes.
So these kinds of umbrellas, which can go anywhere, are really convenient for that reason alone.
Right.
Especially for us white folks who burn so badly in the sun. You know, having an umbrella or two that can stick anywhere is a good idea.
But I will tell you, as a disclaimer, I don't know if you can see me or not, but I have burned in the sun when you are going down that river for 4 or 5 hours or 6 hours. Black people do burn.
It's intense, man.
Yeah.
So, and you will see us floating on the river here in a few weeks. It'll be really cool. All right, last thing we're going to show you here. So we talked a little bit about the diesel heater earlier, right? This is probably the thing that we're the most proud of on this bus. We took our diesel heater and we wired the gas line under the bus, and then we have this fixed up so that the electrical is wired through the back of the bus, and when we park the camp, we just hook it into our battery, which is a boat battery right here, and that powers the diesel heater. It's super easy because all we got to do at this point is connect our battery
terminals,
to the battery, and it's good to go. It's super simple.
Now, there are people who are super skilled at going in and rewiring the electric and putting in boxes and all of that thing, and we really wanted to just keep it really simple. So all of our electricity is mostly run off of battery or shore power, but the shore power is so simple, there's no real wires running through our bus. It's just shore power to a converter, plug in the converter. We didn't do the wires behind the wall and all of that stuff. We just wanted to keep it simple. Something breaks, you just unplug it, buy another one.
Now, the last thing I want to show you back here is this wire right here.
Okay.
All right. So, when the girls were up in the bus, you saw that in our past videos for the bone marrow transplant, we had a satellite that hooked onto this bar right here and went way up into the sky. If we ever wanted to put it back, well, the wire's still there. It's nice and easy.
Right.
And that's if we wanted to get satellite TV.
Right.
Right. Nothing major, but it is there in case we decide we want to watch something other than the DVDs at night.
Right. And we've got neighbors that are painting and fixing. It's glorious Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
Everybody's doing house projects. And there'll be improvements like to the wires and back here. There may be where we come up with a cuter system or some other way. But right now it's working for us.
Mm-hmm.
And when the tape gets wet, we just put more tape over it.
Yep.
We bungee it and we make sure we connect it with rope so that while it's rolling down the road, it does not move, it doesn't flop.
Yep.
It works for us. So if you want to spend $50,000, do $50,000, but we wanted to keep it simple.
Yep.
And make it efficient for us, and it works for us, and we get loads of compliments on this bus.
Yep.
So we have parked this rig next to rigs that are 50,000, 100,000, 150,000, and those people come over to us to say they like our rig. And then when we park our bus outside of our house, we'll have people actually stop their vehicles, get out, take pictures of our bus. We had one man pull over when we were fixing it and actually asked to come on and see it because he was thinking about doing it. So we are pretty proud of this little thing,
Yep.
I know.
So this is the back.
Okay.
We have a lot more to show you. I'm going to point out a couple of last things before we wrap up in the back
Okay.
here. We also have back rear lights.
Yes, those are fabulous.
Boy, when we hooked those in, that was a game changer.
Yes.
Because it is not easy to see out the back of a bus.
Right, and we do have a backup camera.
Yep.
On the bus, which is you're looking at right there, right underneath the lights.
Yes.
And that is a dusk to dawn light, and that works really well, keeps everything safe, and we just bought those from Amazon. But the backup camera works great, except it doesn't have night vision. We didn't get that one.
That's true.
So,
but it don't need it though, because if somebody comes back here and makes some motion, that light pops on, and if we need to, we can pop that light on.
Yep. So we're good. We're
yep.
good on that one.
So I believe that's everything on the rear of the bus kit, unless you think of anything else.
Nope. Okay, so one last thing I thought was really important to mention. So when we first bought the bus, we knew we would need extra storage because again, this is a 21 foot long bus, but storage is still premium, right? So we bought this just a simple Amazon hitch bucket, and we had one of our friends at first just weld the hitch on for us. However, and I might be calling it the wrong thing. This may not be called a hitch, but it's a hitch basket. Okay,
Something
and so but it used to wiggle. So one of our friends who actually works at Lynn State Technical College was like, we need to get that done better. So they took the bus to Lynn State Technical College, and because it's a learning school, they kind of adopted it, and they knew that we were going to do the bone marrow transplant, and so they had a list of things they wanted to improve on it, and one was the hitch. So they did a 3-point welding on this, so it is weld to the frame in 3 different areas, and so this puppy ain't moving at all. Then we said we wanted a bike hitch, so they then had their students design a double bike hitch for us that will hold super heavy bikes. So these are designed to hold the e-bikes actually that you can purchase. You hook them on. They have 2 different places to support, and then of course you would hook it on to the bottom. And then we went and looked up what needed to go on the back of these so that they were street legal. And then just bought those from Amazon. So that's another thing too. Check with your local school districts to see if they have a welding program or a something like that, because the kids really do need projects, and if you're willing to wait 3 or 4 months, those programs might say, yeah, bring your vehicle, your bus, your whatever it is, and let our kids work on it. So really want to thank Lynn Technical College and the students there for working on Bob. On occasion they go, the bus is back. So we might be doing some more projects with them later.
And maybe at some point in the future we'll tell you about our failed e-bike experience.
Yeah. We're not giving up on that e-bike.
It's not over yet.
It's beautiful. She just ain't working. But we're not gonna give up on it yet. Okay, so welcome to Bob Ross. Our what used to be a 1-bedroom apartment for my daughter, bone marrow transplant recuperating vehicle, is now back to being our camper. So let's go over the things that my husband and I did together. And then also when I get to different places, if someone has donated that material, this is a great time for us to thank them personally. So, and then there were a bunch of people who donated things that helped with all of it. Okay, first things first. This is our bed. This bed has gone through many changes. So when we first purchased the bed, it had two big rails right here that matched the top, and a rail that went across. And so we got rid of the rail first, and then, you know, I'm like, oh, I want a decorative. So then we put up like wires and then strings, and that was pretty but not functional. And then ultimately we ended up cutting the rails down because it just made the bus really heavy on top of that, because this is a solid cedar, I think, bed. So yeah, that helped out a lot, and then it gave us a lot of freedom to do other things. My husband then, for my daughter, built her a wardrobe. So we have two shelves hidden behind here, hidden behind our pillows. And you can see they have baskets that have electronics and cleaning supplies and girly things in it. And then also we have, he made her an actual closet to hang her clothes up. Well, she being a teenager, that didn't work, so we just kidding. We'll maybe hang our coats up in the wintertime, but anyway, but it was there. He also built us a stand for our microwave, as well as another area to put items for us. Again, remember, this was supposed to be a house for a while. Most of the things that you will see in here were either made by my husband, myself, or we purchased them from Goodwill, Salvation Army, rummage sales, or Amazon.
Amazon was our best friend.
Amazon was like our homeboy, right? Well, Amazon was our BFF. Jesus is my homeboy.
There you go.
Okay, so the baskets that we use back here. Now I know you guys are going, oh my God, look at all the pillows. We are pillow people. And I am lucky to be married to a man who's also a pillow person. So, back here we have different baskets, and it has games that we like to play. And we have games of all various levels, because when you go camping, you meet people of all ages. So we have this back here. We have movies that we like to watch, and we'll talk about how we watch these movies in a second. My husband's fishing pole, of course, you want to bring that with you. We have some socks and shoes that are specifically for the bus, and we talked about where we got those from. Vacuum cleaners, lint brushes that we keep because we own a lot of animals, and so we need to, you know, try to not carry them everywhere. These baskets right here were also purchased from Amazon, and I bought these once we were on the bus, actually living there, because we had so many things laying around. So these are great for storage. So now for camping, how we use this is we bring our clothes on the bus, but we take them out and we put them in these cubbies. And then, so this is Josh's cubby, this is my cubby, and this is Jade's cubby, because she's always the last one to get out of bed, and Josh is always the first one to get out of bed. So we go in order of who gets out of bed first. And we talked about that it worked, but it didn't work to take the clothes out and put them in singly. So I purchased just bags that we're going to pack our clothes in, like the white linen bags. And then each one will fit nicely in there, and then you could just take the whole linen bag out. So day 1, day 2, and day 3 worth of camping, you have all your day's clothes already. You just grab them and go to the shower. So that's an Amazon purchase on its way. Okay, over here again, we purchased the matching microwave, which is so cool. It's a beautiful microwave. I don't know if you guys could see that, how pretty this microwave is, but it's like nostalgia. And then we also bought the matching refrigerator. Unfortunately, we didn't, you know, it's measured twice, and so it fit, but it fit sideways. But we loved it so much that we kept it. So, and the good news is about it, it's really tall, and so it holds our big things, like our big juices and our big teas. So we can carry lots of drinks in the bottom refrigerator, and then the top refrigerator, which was purchased after we bought this one for her medicine, because we didn't know she would have liquid medicine. And there wasn't enough room at first in this one. So now we carry our food sources in here, our drinks, and our big meats in the bottom because it's a bigger refrigerator. So that actually works out great.
As you can see, our coffee to help keep our fridge nice and fresh.
Okay, so you can see where there are other things that my husband made. So this holder right here actually used to be in the closet, but we didn't really need it in the closet anymore. So I decided to put it right here, and it actually makes for a wonderful fan stand, because what we found is even though we have an air conditioner on this bus, we don't have anything to generate that circular, to make the air circulate. And so we bought another air conditioner and put it on the other side of the bus. Well, that still really didn't work. So I was watching YouTube videos, and a woman said, I bought, and it's one of those, and you saw it in the previous videos, that big blue fan that was sitting right here. Funny story, however, about that big blue fan. Works fantastic. It's loud, but man, it circulates that air, and you're actually cold from one air conditioner and that blue shop fan. Cold, right? But the only problem I had with it is you had to keep getting up and setting it it would run an hour and 60 minutes, and so, or an hour and 30 minutes, so every hour and a half or so I'd have to wake up, turn it back on, go back to sleep, wake up, turn. And I did that for 100 days or so, as long as we were using it or whatever. So my husband, we went camping this last time, and I said, yeah, work is great, but man, I have to get up, every hour and a half to turn it on. And he said, why? And I said, because there's a timer. And he goes, well, yeah, but if you just put it on the on button, it stays on. I didn't know there was just an on button. So for months, I was running this thing and waking up, all night long. It pays to read the directions, but I didn't get the directions, so there you go. So thank you, honey.
This is why we make a great couple.
That's right. That's right. Okay, moving on. You can see now, because we've done all this new storage space, when we get ready to leave to go camping, this is how we can travel now, right? So the air conditioner can be placed on the floor along with the air conditioner holder. Now we have 2 clean chairs. Everything is clean and ready to move, and getting packed up and traveling is so much better. We even cleaned underneath the bed. So the white foam that you see is actually insulation, because we didn't have enough wood floors. Now the wood floors that you see on the bus were donated. My dear friend Lori and her husband were redoing their house, and I saw on Facebook, and I'm like, hey, can I have the scraps? And she said, sure. So they drove their scraps. God love them. They drove their scraps up here, and we had just enough scraps to do the front and the stairs, but not underneath the bed. So my husband and I, we bought, I don't know how many inches that is, about 3 inches, 2.5 inches,
something like that, yeah.
Foam, and so underneath the bed is just completely foam, so it stayed nice and comfortable in here. But we took out some seats and moved things around, and you can see where we even have a place for the dog bed now, so the doggy has his own little corner to sleep in, right? Okay, so another thing that my husband did for us is he made us these shelves. So the first wave of it, the first version of it, was just these 3 shelves that opened up into 2 sections. Okay, that was the first, but they opened up all the way because we didn't have this countertop here. And then, so after he made this, I said, honey, I'd really like a shelving unit to put other supplies up there, because again, we were living in here. So we had toasters and pots and pans and plates and forks and all that kind of thing. And so he turned around and he actually built this like within a day of me asking. And this is before wood prices were like outrageous like they are now. Like they were decent a couple years back, and now they're like, oh my gosh, you gotta get a loan. Then he put these desks on here, and we tried all kinds of different hinges, but they just didn't seem to work. And then again, watching YouTube videos, we found these hinges right here that actually allowed the desk to stay open. And so it was just one piece of wood that we painted, and we were satisfied with it. but you can see where it doesn't give you a lot of room to walk through. Like, there's not a whole lot of room to walk through. When you're sitting, if the air conditioning wasn't here, I would sit and show you, but you know what sitting looks like. And so one day I was like, Josh, you know, if we get some piano hinges, if we could cut this, then we could fold these over. And so he went to Lowe's, we found some piano hinges, and now we can walk through with no problem. And so that was really helpful, because I will tell you, ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't watch the other videos, and we might put another one together, I had to work on the bus as well. So it wasn't just her recovering. This was a working office. So I had double monitors. So I'd have both of them, one monitor here, my monitor there, my computer, laptop, and then Jade would have to go to the bathroom. So we would just start flipping these up. I didn't have to undo my office. I just flipped everything up and waited until she was done. And then when she was done using the bathroom in the cab of the bus, she came back, and then I just folded them back out and kept working. So I taught overloads, actually 21 hours one. Okay, and both of these do the same thing. As we camp more, we'll kind of figure out whether or not we need this header anymore, you know, or we'll keep it because it's not bothering us. We'll change the color, we'll keep it the way it is. That's the fun thing about making your own camper, is you change your mind, change paint color, move things around. These two seats came out of my house. They do let out, so it's almost like you know, like a twin bed almost. And that back seat actually does recline pretty far back, so good sleeping seats. They're also road legal because we do have seat belts in them, in both of them, and the seat belts are attached to the actual bus itself, because this used to be a handicap bus, so it has all of the rails still in it. We left the rails in it, so every single piece of furniture that you see in here is actually harnessed to the rails on the bus, so they're not in an accident, they're not moving. Okay, and we plan it that way because we want it safety first. So again, you know, we put up the showers. The shower here goes all the way around. This curtain closes. This curtain closes for privacy. So this is actually not the shower curtain. This is the shower curtain, and it goes all the way around this rail right here. So when this was a one-room utility apartment, this was actually the bathroom area. So shower and bathroom. And you know, and it worked. I mean, we took showers, and we have a setup for that. So we have a portable hot water heater that we would set right here, and we had a shower nozzle that would come over the shower curtain, and we put a dog bowl, a doggy pool on the floor that folded up. And so we could put it away when we were done. We let the shower curtains dry overnight. And it was great. And we do the same thing if we're camping and it's raining. We could utilize this area, or if we're boondocking, we could utilize this area. But we also have an outside pop-up tent that's really spacious and comfortable, and we could pop that tent up and do the shower outside and do the bathroom outside. So we're very versatile. And again, my husband and I set it up past couple of camping days, and it works out great for us. Looks good, and very functional. So this is, let's see, this television was put in initially. It is it's on a really strong base. It swings down this way, so you can get in the bed and watch great movies with the surround sound. I mean, it is just thumping. And because this is a handicap bus, it has really, really good insulation because it was made for handicap students. So we did insulate the bus. Like, this sticker roof is actually insulation that was put on, again, because we wanted to make sure, my husband wanted to make sure we were warm and taken care of. And so everything was like this thought process. Watch a video, thought process, what does an apartment need? Watch a video, thought process, what can we do with the bus? So this was not like a well laid out plan and everything was just done all at once. It was make it, live on it, see if it works. Okay, add something else, until we were comfortable that my daughter would be comfortable. And once we thought we can't do anything else to make this a more comfortable living space, then we went to the hospital and we stayed there, and it worked beautifully. Like, our Bob Ross bus took really good care of us, but other people took care of us as well. Number one, my husband, fantastic. Josh, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Like, you spoil us completely, and I just I can't even say more about everything that I wanted or needed, and even stuff that I didn't really need, you'd spoil us a little bit with. So, but we make a great team, bouncing back and forth off of each other, and figuring out problems. To the public who I just made like a Facebook post, like, hey guys, if you want to help out, this is what we're doing. And friends and family and the public who didn't even know us came forward and helped us raise money for this bus. A wonderful lady named Tony also, she donated the shocks for the bus so that we have RV shocks on here instead of regular shocks. And then we go to a fabulous mechanic in Holt Summit, Schneller's, and Schneller's they take care of this bus. I mean, they just really do. And so that's where we take the Bob Ross, and we just have total confidence in Schneller and their team, that they know how important this bus was and is to us, and they treat it like it's $100,000 RV. So anyway, so that's where we are. We have plenty of food storage up here. We don't really store anything right now, but we have plenty of shelving space. And then over here, we have plenty of shelving space. It goes all the way to the back of the bus. And then I just hung these little curtains out to just make it look a little bit prettier. They're not very functional, but they are, I think, very pretty. So each one, I'm gonna step out and let you see the whole bus. The whole theme of this bus, honestly, when we started, the vision for it was, I wanted it to be like a cabin in the woods, like where you'd go and you just get comfortable, go out, leave your cabin, do some fishing, maybe a little hunting or whatever, and then come back. And that's why we have the rock wall in the back, and that's why we have the wood stickers on the top. We didn't want to add real wood because it would just make the bus more heavy, so we didn't do that. But the stickers on the top, they work for us. And and we have a map in the front of the bus that's the United States, and we plan on putting a pin every place we go. Right now we're pretty much in Missouri because we're just starting out. So little things like this are really nice, things that you pick up from just watching YouTube videos. So this is just a light that one, you can take it off and use it, but it's just a magnetic light that just kind of sticks up there, and you can program it to where it only comes on if you walk in front of it. We use those for the bathroom light, and then we also use it just like as a hallway light as well. But this is just something that we saw somebody else, and so there's no running wires or anything like that. It's just, we just kept it really, really, really simple. You'll see the sticker lights in the back that are just the little lights that you can put up. They change colors if we want to make it fun or not. But we also have a whole row over here too, and I just didn't turn them on, but they go all the way around the bus pretty much, for just that light illumination, and they don't attract bugs. So that was another thing that we like. Our air conditioner back there in the back actually does work. It doesn't work while the bus is idle, of course, because then it'll just blow hot air at you. But on the road, it produces some really good air. And then we also have the air conditioner in the front that needs a little bit more Freon for my liking. But that's just, it's normal vehicle wear and tear kind of stuff. But we'll get that recharged as well. But the air conditioner in the back does a great job of, taking care of the passengers. And then of course we have the bus fan up front, which works out great. That's crazy how that little fan like keeps you cool. So there you go. For all of you people that are thinking about camping and all of that, it doesn't take a lot. Like we put a lot in here, but that's because our situation was a little different. We needed it to live in first, and now that it's no longer that, it's basically just we can RV per se. Make sure you do your research on whatever state you live in, because each state has a different thing that you have to do in order to get your bus relicensed as an RV or bus relicensed as a truck or whatever you're going to do. Make sure that you check your state before you purchase the bus. There's some really good advice somebody put out was before you buy the bus, actually get the VIN number off of it and call the insurance companies. Don't use the computer for insurance companies because the computer's not going to want to insure it. Actually call local insurance companies to see how much it would cost you to insure the bus if you're going to buy it. But do that first. Don't buy the bus and then try to get insurance. Like I've seen people do that, and that's honestly the way we did it, but that's not the best way. The most simple way is to actually get the VIN number of the bus you want to purchase and then call insurance agents before you buy the bus to get the insurance or what it would cost to insure it. They will tell you what has to be on the bus in order for it to be insured. Some states make you have a water on the bus, and you have to have a toilet on the bus, and you have to have a shower on the bus. Some states don't require anything, right? Please check, because the last thing you want to do is pay $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 for a vehicle and then have a lot of trouble finding insurance. You can do it, but you just have to do due diligence, and then also getting it retitled. There are some states you're not going to have a problem with it at all. There are other states you may have a real problem getting it titled, a bus titled to an RV or a truck, depending on what state that you're in. So again, and you know, if we get tired of the RV life or we can't do it anymore, we just take everything out and then we just use it as a moving truck, or you know, just a side hustle, right? So but it'll probably stay this for a very long time. My nephew is very sweet, and he's a go-getter. And he was like, Auntie, you've been so good to me. When I, you know, accomplish my dreams and my goal, I'm going to come and I'm going to buy you a big old Class A. And I was like, nah, I'm good with the Bob Ross. You just keep it moving for us. Like, you help us with maintenance and, you know, set aside some money so if we need help getting it fixed, then that's good. And that's how much we actually care about this bus. That we would pass up the chance to get a Class A for just to stay in our little 21 footer. So so there you go, guys. You know, I know we did a lot of talking, but to us it's like, even if we didn't have this, we would probably take the SUV, throw a mattress in it, stick the air conditioner out the window and go camping.
It's
and
true.
The SUV is all true, right? Because I think we're just wanderlust. We like our home base. Like, I enjoy coming back to my house. But my husband and I are talking about it, and we could easily see both of us retiring and just hitting the road. And that's just, you know, we just kind of those type of people. Living in a van down by the river.
Yeah. Living in a van down by the river.
Anyway, so if you have any questions or concerns or comments, like, subscribe, and leave us a smiley face or something to let us know that you are with us on our trips. Again, next weekend we will be getting ready for the fishing season, and so we're going to be working on our boat. Yeah, our boat. For the fishing season, so you'll get to see that, and you may actually get to go fishing with us.
There we go.
We'll see. I'm Tony.
I'm Josh. This is Onward Barnes. You guys will see you later.